Ahoy there, Lorcana fans. Welcome back to the Camp Quest podcast. I'm Ian, and with me, as always, is my beautiful, lovely fiance.
Yeah,
we spoiled that on the last one.
I was like, ooh, this is the first time you get to introduce me as your fiance.
That's right. Lindsay,
me.
we are here with some fun topics for today. Like always, we're going to start off with the lore drop, where we will talk through sort of our journeys over the last week or two in Lorcana, mention any big news, and then we will move on to a new segment that I am very excited for called Comment Sense, and then we'll round it out with some spicy takes.
Got some spicy takes.
Lindsay's got some spicy takes for Hear Me Out. So, but we're going to start off the podcast with our sort of icebreaker segment called Bulk Ben. So we have here a physical representation of the cards that have been doing us dirty this week.
We have some strong opinions about.
We have some strong opinions of cards that we're not particularly happy with, and they are going to need to spend a week in card prison, in the bulk bin, thinking about their actions and what they've done. So I can go ahead and start.
We both picked cards from the same color.
We both picked cards from the same color. Spoiler.
I think a lot of people have strong feelings about this color
One way or the other. So I have Kita, Creative Thinker from set 7. This is a really cool card. Ward, and you get to exert it to look at the top card of your deck. You can ramp one. You get to keep the other one top. Oh, man, there's some great moments when that's really good. The problem is everybody is trying to jam, myself included, has been trying to jam this into decks with Cinderella.
Yep.
And I have tried playing this in 3 different Cinderella decks, and I just keep cutting it. And then I do this thing where I go back to the drawing board on a deck, or I go to edit, I'm like, maybe I'll put those Kitas back in, maybe. And then every time I do, I regret it. Kita has been letting me down time after time, and I just can't quit her, apparently, because she's like the card that I just put into every blue deck right now when I put Cindy in, and then she
also kind of feels like budget Cindy.
I mean, yeah, and she's just not good enough because like Cindy ramps on the same turn. Like I'd rather play Pleakley. Like Pleakley's a better. It's not a princess, but like it still lets you ramp. It probably should be. So what have you got here for the bulk bin?
My spicy is that it's a legendary. I've got a legendary that I'm sending to the bulk bin.
A blue legendary.
And it's a blue legendary because I'm sick and tired of seeing it. So Daisy Duck, which, as you may know, is the Set Champs promo card.
Yeah.
So this is the second time they've done this a couple
Well,
of times.
they have.
Whatever. But
it's a bad one though.
It's not a very good. It's not gonna. I mean, it's a very niche card.
Yeah.
And of all of the set, where we would be happy with just about any promo, like just about any of the legendaries. We're like
Webby.
All
Demona,
of the other ones
Goliath.
We wanted more of.
Yeah.
And we saw of the product that we opened, like I think which was 3 booster boxes, I think is what it came to. 4 booster boxes. And
which for us is more than we usually do.
Yeah, exactly. This was a bigger set, and this was a bigger investment set for us.
Yeah.
We saw 5 of these, and so I'm sick of looking at it, especially because
we're going to get 1.5 million of them when we play Set Champs.
We play Set Champs. So.
Yeah, including like just regular promos that they just hand out at the door. It's like, bummer.
Yeah. And more on the Set Champs discussion later. But
that's true.
We'll save that for later.
We'll save that for later. But let's go ahead and get into the lore drop. So the last time we recorded the episode was right before the release event. So we've now had a couple weeks to settle into the new set. We hosted our release event. It actually went great. We had a really solid turnout. 18 people, which for a release event for us is great because there's so many other stores that run them all across our city.
Yeah, all on the same night.
Set Champs will get good crowds, but release events are hit or miss because, other places are running them on Friday nights. 18 people. Both of us went 3-0.
We never did play each other.
We didn't play each other. We were 2 of only 3. We just, when we do pre-releases, we'll do like sealed, and you'll get a pack per win, and you'll just play 3 rounds flat just because it's at night and everybody needs to go home and get their kids to bed, right? So we did 3 rounds. There were 3-0 players. It was us 2 and our friend Aaron.
Yep.
And we both could not have had different more different decks, which felt cool. Like the sealed environment was really interesting because it had like gimmicks.
Yeah, it did.
But it also had like enough well-rounded stuff. There was enough evasives and card draw and a little bit of removal, but also just like the like pulling the super rares and legendaries. They're like really gimmicky, weird cards.
Yeah.
So tell us about your deck. You had a really exciting.
Well, I had a really great pull, and because of that, on my second pack that I opened, I pulled an Enchanted Demona, which luckily we were good friends with everybody. I was like, I really want to include her because she's such a strong card, especially in this format. But I was like, I'm not playing with my Enchanted. Like we don't hold on to our Enchanteds. We turn around and sell them.
Yeah,
our thought is that we sell them, we spend it back in the product. So we're competitive players. Shinies are fun.
Well, and we want to make sure that like when we're selling them somebody, we're selling them something that's clean and doesn't have a bunch of play, like it's not played.
So I didn't want to play with it, and so anyway, I proxied it. But I saw, I mean, in a 40 card deck, I saw her probably, you know,
see her a lot,
quite a few times, and it was a big game changer as far as like, you know, because you're being able to draw the cards. I mean, unfortunately, I helped my opponent too.
Well, that's how it goes.
I lucked out. I think I won all 3 die rolls, so that helped a little bit
too.
Sure. And yeah, I was like, I don't think there was any other.
You had a lot of evasives, it seemed like.
Yeah, I think I had a lot of evasives. I also got maybe 1 or 2 guidebooks that really helped with card draw. So like I definitely for a sealed event wasn't hurting for card draw. So
yeah, that's just often like if you're not playing aggressive, then it's like you want to make sure you have all the cards.
Yeah.
And can draw well.
I had a grand old time. So it was a fun deck.
Yeah, I mine was very different. I pulled Daisy Duck. But I also pulled
1 of our 5.
Yeah, one of the 5. I pulled a ton of detectives.
Yeah.
So I mean my sealed packs gave me the big Daisy, the shift target, a couple of the like random steel detectives, including the Nick Wilde, which is a draw engine if you're detective challenges. I had 1 copy of the Judy Hopps, where when she comes in and when she quests, you look at the top 3 or 4 cards for a detective.
Yeah.
I even had the shift Judy Hopps that comes in and gives your detectives alert and resist +2 on your turn.
Yeah.
So like, holy cow, I just had so much card draw. I also had 2 Dragonfires. So I had the spot removal.
I didn't get Dragonfire. I had Thunderbolt.
See, I didn't get Thunderbolts, but I had 2 Dragonfires, and they did come in handy. And so I actually went completely undefeated, not just in my matches, but in my games. I 2-0'd all of my opponents.
That's a great synergy
the entire time, just because of the synergy,
you might as well have played a
the
sealed
tricks.
deck.
It felt like I was playing. It felt like I was playing a starter deck, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And I bet, and I had this thought afterwards. We played sealed, but I bet it would be a really fun set to draft because you have the gargoyle synergies and you have the detective synergies and the boost synergies. Yeah. And I saw a lot of people playing really hard into the boost. I didn't get as much of that. I still played a little bit here and there, just because they were good cards. But I mean, I imagine drafting, in a pot of 4 or 6 when you can like, oh man, I've got I early maybe open a Duckworth which can rush and boost one of your characters. Well, now I'm going to draft a bunch of boost cards, so I have more synergy for that. Or I've got this Judy Hopps, I'm going to get all the detectives. Like, I bet drafting is a blast with this specific set. Yeah. It felt like last set was perfect for sealed because there wasn't as much like internal synergy and like it wasn't like gimmicks. This set, when you have gimmicks, it definitely feels better for draft. As much fun as we had, it felt like this would be a perfect draft set.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it'd just be hard because there's too many good legendaries. So if you see a legendary,
that's true. You got to snag it up. Yeah. So yeah, we did that. We had a blast. We've been playing plenty of constructed, going to league and stuff like that. Playing on the testing site that shall not be named. But we also
practice. I said we got to practice. It's a big set for us again.
Well, it's a big set, and we have something to practice for.
Right. So as you know, the DLC is going to be here in our hometown in Richmond. Eek! in January. And that will be with the current set and the current meta.
Yep.
And so it's a high incentive. We're coming off the high of Milwaukee, so it's exciting to be headed to the next one. We did not have equal luck getting tickets this time, so unfortunately I was unable to get a ticket. I don't know if I tried too hard. I got locked out a couple of times.
It knew how bad you wanted it.
It knew how bad I wanted it. So I'm not giving up hope, though. When we were in Milwaukee, there was up until the day of for the locals, from the locals' perspective.
Yep.
But Lucky Duck over here had the horseshoe.
I was like the first person in like all of the group chats we were in to get it. Like, it was no problem for me, and I'm over here thinking, oh man, it's gonna be easy for everybody. And then you've
never missed one that you've tried to get.
I have good luck with ticket sales, apparently. And this goes back to
Where
everything.
Were you during the Eras tour?
Yeah, I bet I would have been a popular person. We're excited. It seems like a lot of our local people got in.
Yeah, either attendee badges or, and I think that there is enough. I wouldn't even be upset with an attendee badge. We actually had some friends who got in at Milwaukee and ended up working the event because they needed some extra staff support. So if I don't get a ticket, I'd be happy to just still participate. Obviously, if Ian's going to be playing, it would be fun to just be there.
Yeah.
In the room where it happens.
Yeah,
so.
and I feel like they're going to relist tickets at some point in a couple waves, so we'll have another opportunity to get you one then.
I check Eventbrite every day just in case.
Just in case. Well, and stay tuned to the if you missed it on a ticket as well.
Yep.
Stay connected to the official Lorcana Discord. If you're not in there, I would really recommend being in there because that seems to be where they push out all of the bigger announcements for events in the competitive scene. So
and pastime events also, they have an official Discord channel that they make announcements as far as tickets go. And they're usually pretty good about answering questions too. So they definitely monitor the channel. That is where I've heard a lot of the news. And then of course, the Twitch streams, from Ravensburger, they talk about some of that stuff too. So
yeah. So that is that's DLC Richmond. We're very excited. As it gets closer, we'll probably do some content around where to go if you need to buy some last minute card sleeves.
We can be your local experts,
local guides for the DLC. Where to go get food, the good places in the city. Richmond is a great city.
It is a very fun city.
Super fun.
We're big fans, obviously.
Yeah, we live here and we like living here. So sometimes you live somewhere and you may not like it.
TCG community.
Yeah, so. I'm really excited for us as a larger scene to get to host it. We probably will never get another shot. So anyways.
In fact, our local we have a Discord server for the local Lorcana, and we had a bunch of random people join after they got tickets to the DLC. They were like, hey, anybody know any local Richmond Lorcana communities? And somebody shouted out our Discord server, and we had an influx of people join.
Very exciting. And again, like I said, more as it gets closer. The only other thing that's really big news, and I'm going to briefly mention this and then move on. There's these, they're officially not doing pens anymore for the kits, except for the local play kits, the OP kits. Except for the color pens. And they're going to finish those out and then discontinue the pens altogether. And I think that led, I'll say this for myself, and I'm curious to know, for those of you that go to local leagues, get in the comments and let us know what you felt. But I, as the league, admin for our local store, I was a little disappointed opening the kit, if I'm going to be completely honest. We got these cardboard boxes, cool. Some people like them. Some people could not care less about them.
Yeah.
Right? You can't play with the box. You can't bling out your deck with a cardboard box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's okay, you can't display your cardboard box on your bag with a pen.
Yeah, and it's not a deck box.
It's not a deck box. You can't. Yeah. So I just I don't mind that when they're giving other things out, but the stickers, what am I supposed to do with hundreds of stickers? No one cared about it. They got one sticker, they put it on their deck box.
If you only gave a few stickers and they were more of a collectible or not
some people might be into that. I wouldn't personally, but I get it.
But when there's so many stickers.
Yeah, it's like you can just throw stickers at people and it diminishes the value of it. In the same way, you got these promo cards, and I had somebody mention this. Someone at League said, "Wow, they really took a step back on the promo cards," which is a wild take considering you look at them and they look
artwork looks amazing.
Really cool. The like black framing. Some people like it, some people don't, but I like that it's bold.
Yeah.
And it's like some people are gonna love it. Yeah. Right? The problem is the cards aren't that good.
The cards aren't that good.
Like
they're not the playable card. Like last set,
Sisu,
we had
Merfolk,
really great
Strength,
promo cards.
like,
and so to have such a hard pivot this set, it's like last set you thought, okay, we're finally getting some cards.
Yeah,
they're gonna help. This is gonna help keep the cost of the game down. Like. In a good
and
way.
they've helped with Strength, I think, a lot.
Yeah,
and I mean, there's been two printings of Strength and the promo card. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so to get, it's just a really super underwhelming. I mean, the whole fun of a promo card is that it's a card you want to play, and so it's like and this is like the artwork's not cool enough to like make it a trophy and set it up like when it's not like a set champs enchanted that you can frame or do something with like. I don't know. And it's just a bummer. Yeah,
and to be fair, this had been the trend before Fabled, and so with Fabled, it was like, oh wow, maybe they're kind of taking a better. And look, I mean, sometimes there was good promo cards, specifically like the One Drop Lady for dogs in set 7 or 8, whichever one that was. Yeah, that was a great promo card, know. But like. Fabled made us go, wow, they know what's good, and they're trying to give us cards that are good as these promos, especially ones that, like, Merfolk and Strength were rares. Yeah. Instead of just, like, commons and uncommons. And I got to double check. I don't know. I'm sure. I think the Scar might be a rare, the blue Scar. Yeah, I could be wrong. The boost one, but it's not very good.
And you get that for buying a box. It's not like
it's not
an organized play promo.
I think Horseman Strikes is not rare, but again, I could be wrong on that. But the point is that like Horseman Strikes is probably the best of the promos, and it's relatively niche.
Yeah.
Elsa, the 3-drop Elsa is okay. I think it has some opportunity in the future, but it is a niche card when they could have been putting a promo Thunderbolt in or a promo Spooky Sight.
There's so many cards in this set that are going to warp the meta. That like, and you can tell that from look, you know, when you put the devs put these games together.
They know they're testing, like,
and so even if just like one of the 3 was and I get
Spooky Sight, Headless Horseman, like there's actually just quite a lot of cards that have the 2-drop Uninkable Diablo,
right?
Like for for Ruby. So I'm not asking them necessarily to like give out legendaries, but I do think like rares and super rares that are meta relevant, I think would be nice to have. So anyways, that's our take. The only other thing I'll throw out there that's new is the pre-release boxes that they're going to do, not with Winter Spell but with Wilds Unknown. So that'll be the February, March, April, May, or June set, wherever that comes out in the timeline. And that's the one that they're introducing Toy Story with, which I'm so freaking amped about. So excited. And they're doing something that I think is really cool. They're doing these like pre-release boxes, which are designed, I guess, for sealed. They've got 6 packs in them. They also come with a random 1 out of 6. There's 6 different promos, one for each color. And then I guess there will be a set specific item. I'm just going to put on the record here something that's a hot take. This isn't even part of the hot take segment, but I'm just going to call a shot, and it could be totally off, totally wrong. But the way they framed it, where they're talking about a set specific item, but it's like clearly like I think they're introducing, this is just and I have no basis for this. I have no insider trading here.
Yeah.
I think they're introducing a generic item card that is designed to go with whoever's going second.
Oh.
So, or some kind of like game state card that everybody is going to need to have. We've seen this like obviously like in Star Wars Unlimited.
Yeah.
They have like experience tokens, but you get like a card at the back of packs where like it can, and the same with Magic, like food tokens or whatever, right? But But the reason I think it's important, because if they were going to be in packs like token cards, you would need to include one. So why would they include one? Well, if it's like a some sort of game-wide mechanic, like Star Wars Unlimited had like the Force, and it was like you either had it or you didn't. You'd flip it up and down.
Yeah.
Or like Pokemon had like a V-Star token, which would be like, okay, this would signal a once per game effect.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be something like that, just from the way they communicated it. Or they specifically called it an item. It'll be something that maybe is like the coin in Hearthstone, which is a conversation I've had with a bunch of people as a way to balance going second.
Yeah.
So anyways, I have no actual evidence.
You think it'll be some sort of new introduction?
I think it's a new game mechanic introduction with that, which is why they would feel the need to put it in all the sealed kits.
That makes sense.
But then it would be like, but why this one card? Like, why would every, like, if it was Ink Runner, why would every box get an Ink Runner?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that, like, logic there, unless it's a story reason thing that they're trying to incorporate, which I guess is another thing that could happen.
Yeah.
Anyways, the only thing that's interesting
Honestly,
about this.
I hope it's something like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean.
Like, I hope it is something that sort of helps balance the game, you know.
Yeah. I think that we're going to see a lot of changes in the next 2 or 3 sets designed to even out the go first advantage.
We've already started to see a few cards that have
Angel.
Angel
for next set.
and Webby.
Webby.
And so we are starting to see some cards that
the devs are aware now, and the production cycle is catching up to their knowledge of this. Yeah. Yeah. But supposedly the retail value on this is $45.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's not worth that necessarily. The quality of the promos is going to dictate that. But if you look at like 6 packs or $6,
yeah,
right? You're looking at $36 would be a fair rate for just the packs. Now, if the promos are truly that amazing, maybe people are maybe it's worth it to people to pay an extra $9 plus tax for that promo card.
And maybe the promos are that amazing. I mean, if it's a promo Cindy or a Dumbo, like the cards that have kind of, you know, now, like we said, these meta warping cards. We've talked about this with Pokemon. Has different rarities available, or like it's just something that'll kind of help.
If it's coming with a random legendary that's being
that's
promo,
is like a random legendary,
then I think
or you know, a meta relevant, more rare card.
I think you'll see a lot less objection if that's the case.
Yeah.
But I will say that like most stores that I've been to, and maybe, you know, let us know if that's not the case in your area, but you know, most stores are running their sealed events at around $30, some $25, some $35, but like right around that, like, hey, we're either giving you a good deal on your 6-pack so that you come and compete and hopefully buy more product with us at this, you know, friendly local game store, or it's exactly at the, you know, $35 is basically MSRP for 6 packs. Yeah. So like I'm like, okay, you're doing, if this is going to be the mandated pre-release format, you're talking about like a pretty big inflation, which to some people $10 means nothing, and like that's okay. I mean, I will go to a pre-release and pay $45 if I have to compete in it. But there are plenty of players out there that, like, again, the game is expensive. And so, like, you know, paying $10 more every time you want to go to a pre-release, or $15 more, depending on, you know, or $20 more if someone charges, which some people in our area charge $25. It's just, you know, I'm curious to see if that remains, that price point sticks around. If that's something where, okay, that's to buy it off of a shelf, but if you run a pre-release, we'll subsidize it and it's $30, whatever. I'm just like flagging that because I think it's something that not a lot of people have been talking about as that's been circulating, because I think everybody agrees, like, the concept is cool. Yeah, it's cool to have these pre-built, they're not pre-built, but like pre-packaged decks to hand to somebody when it's time to play a sealed event.
And it's kind of cool because you get, you know, you get your little box.
And I got the Elsa promo and you got the Hercules promo. Wow. Yay. Yeah. Like, that is fun. And I've done that for like other card games, and it is cool. And you'll hear people like, oh, I played in a Pokemon one a couple weeks ago. Oh, did anybody get the Toxicity promo? I want to get that one. Okay, cool. Here, I want the Sarah Edge one. Okay, here you go. We'll trade the promos, whatever. Like, you know, and that's fun. And I think that will be really well received. I just, you know, the question mark is, what is the price point going to be for the actual release night event? I'm fine if it's $45 to buy it off the shelf 3 weeks later.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so anyways, I say we move on.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go ahead and jump into a new segment that I've incepted in my time. The YouTube channel has been growing, and that's been really fun.
It has. Yeah.
We're over 1,000.
Yeah.
That's
Way to
pretty
go
cool.
us.
We weren't last time when we published the episode, I don't think. So that's really exciting. But as the YouTube channel has grown, so too has the comment section on some videos.
Yeah.
And so today we will be trying on a new section known as Comment Sense, where we will examine the finest minds that the Camp Quest comment section has to offer.
Yeah.
And maybe a few who probably should just take a chill pill.
Yeah.
So I have I've picked out a few here, some of my favorites for the week that I don't know if Lindsay has read yet. So the first one was actually really funny because I know you had read this like when it came out.
Yeah.
And we laughed about it. This person, at Anthony F8423, please quit while you're ahead. I almost had a panic attack thinking that was Magic the Gathering for a second. I can only emotionally handle so much Universes Beyond. Well, my friend, I've got good news for you.
It's a whole different game.
It's a completely different game. Whether that's better or worse for your wallet, I could not tell you. I am
As someone who just bought a single Magic the Gathering pack because I really wanted to see the Avatar cards.
Yeah. The Universes Beyond, it'll get us all eventually.
Right.
I know I am, as a staunchly not Magic the Gathering fan,
Yeah.
I am looking at that Star Trek set in a year from now and going, man, oh, it's going to be real hard to resist. So,
See?
Oh, man.
I just wanted to see the cards.
Listen, it gets everyone in the end. Anthony, please don't have a panic attack. You don't have to buy this. It is a completely different game.
But you can if you want to.
And you would be welcome in our community.
You sure would.
Yeah. So the next one, this one's more of a discussion point.
Yep.
At guy22224444 says, sorry to say, but Hades, the new Hades, is bad and won't be seen in decks for long. Once people feel how awful it is, it's going straight to the binder.
Somebody only played against red or blue-green.
Yeah.
With their Hades. Because, Hades does feel bad in that matchup.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, Hades feels pretty darn good.
So good.
You're like, okay, you're either going to get rid of that character or I'm going to draw 2 cards. So what do we call it? Something cheaper. Finders Cheapers?
Finders Cheapers is what I've been calling it. Yeah.
So you get a body and you get 2 cards usually.
Yeah.
Or you're getting rid of a character, which fine by me.
In certain matchups, like you're only going to target their best character.
Yeah.
It's not like your opponent gets to choose.
Yeah.
And so like, there's so many matchups where like, especially like if you're playing a deck like Blue Steel or Red Blue, and like I've been playing a lot of Red Blue. And I'm like, oh man, I've got my big dragon and I'm just trying to play bomb after bomb and run my opponent out of resources. When they play a Hades and target my dragon, I have to go like, well, shoot, the whole point here is for me to run you out of resources. And if I let you draw the 2 cards, you're just going to trade into my dragon next turn. Is this worth it? And I found myself bottom decking dragons and Hades and stuff more often than I'd care to admit, because it's like, I can't give you those cards.
Yep.
But then you're talking about having a point and click removal. That's awesome too. 2 great scenarios. I think the reason people like who haven't played it enough don't like it, or at least when they saw it, they were like, I'm never going to get the one that I want in this scenario.
Because I'm making my opponent choose.
Right.
And I'm like, I love it. I think we're going to talk on this later, but it is a very healthy, balanced card. Like it's a well-balanced card. So
I agree.
It has a negative effect, but you allow your opponent to choose which negative effect that they're going to get. Yeah. So they're either going to let you have these resources and keep their character, or they're going to get rid of their character. And so I think, And 90% of the time, you can pretty safely guess what they're going to choose, because if you just put yourself in their shoes, you can know. And in the same way that sometimes you sit on a card because you know it's not the right time to play it, sometimes you'll sit on Hades because you know they're going to give you cards when
if you're in a position where you're like, I know that if I play this, they'll give me the cards, and you don't need the cards, you play something else.
Right.
Or if that's the only card in your hand, oh, well, a 5-drop that says draw 2 cards is probably better than anything else you were going to play.
Or remove something else. Like, okay.
Right, yeah. So I think it's funny. Like, this was an early take, and I just think it's so funny because it's like, boy, this did not age well. It is a card that is being seen in like almost every purple deck, ranging in the number of copies, but like it feels like a Blurple mainstay. It feels like a mainstay as well in red blue, although I know some people have been like phasing it out. We'll see where that lands. Or sorry, not red blue, red purple. Purple steel really likes it, so it's just like, man, like it just feels, it's just flexible, easy to include in your deck. It's inkable. Yeah. Like rough take there, guy 2222 4444. So let's go ahead and we'll move on to the last of these. I don't want to go too nuts. I got to save some for future weeks. But this is actually a really good question, or it's not really a question. It's a statement, but I'm going to choose to make this a learning experience. So
educate the masses.
Yes, this was from @Corbett La France 3352. I think you may have confused the stats on Tinkerbell. This is referring to the 1-drop Ruby Tinkerbell. She only has 1 willpower, so she's banished in a challenge by pretty much anything. She is not a good 1-drop at all, in my opinion. I did not get it mixed up. I'm very aware that it is a 3-1. But you bring up a good point, Corbett, which is I think a lot of people view a card like that in a worst-case scenario bubble. We've seen a lot of 1-3s in the history of the game. And almost every color either has one or has had one at certain points. And there have been moments where 1-3s are great.
Yeah.
Back when we had good old Merlin Crab, a 1-3 was awesome because, as you kind of are referencing, it doesn't die to a lot that's in the early game. And if you can find a way to buff it, you can get a trade with it, have it live to either absorb another challenge or quest with while you sit there and your opponent has to decide if they want to care about a 1-3. But Tinkerbell is a 3-1. So yes, it does die to literally anything that pokes her with the stick. But in the process, she smacks you with a baseball bat.
Right.
So instead of viewing this from the perspective of the thing won't live very long, I would challenge you and anybody else who's kind of like learning how to interpret a card and read a card to determine if it's good. I would challenge you to view it from the perspective of what is my opponent doing in order to get rid of this?
Yeah.
Now, the downside would be something like Malicious, Mean, and Scary. The card's not very good against Malicious, Mean, and Scary.
She's not your favorite card to see late game.
Right. It's not very good against Big Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
But those are cards that, if you know the meta, just by seeing your opponent's first ink, you should be able to determine, they're going to have access to Big Tinkerbell. It's blue steel.
Right.
Okay. I would rather play a different 1-drop, or if I'm in turn 2 or 3.
Well, you're not playing Big Tinkerbell until turn 5 or whatever.
Sure.
Like it's going to be a minute before she.
Right, and
do I have time to get a trade on her before? And if not, am I going to get to quest with her 3 times?
Sure, T-pos are another good answer, but a lot of the decks want to use T-pos as part of some sort of sing together, like they can sing together Beyond the Horizon. So my point is simply like, it is not a perfect card. It would be terrible if a 1-drop was that broken. We've seen a couple broken 1-drops in the day, and it's always like, oh my gosh, this again. But
now we've got 2 new 2-drops that are 3/3s. So
right, and so that's the other thing. We have a higher average stat distribution on these cards. So you see a lot of 3 defense 2-drops now, and even some 3 defense 3-drops. That means if they want to defeat your Tinkerbell, and they don't have a 1-drop, or if the 1-drop you were able to deal with through some other effect, like they're basically guaranteeing if they want to respect your Tinkerbell, they have to throw their card away.
Right. I was gonna say she doesn't die to everything she could take out, because Rafiki is very popular in the metagame, and Rafiki, if Rafiki has traded it, is gone and challenged something else and survived, then Tinkerbell can take him out as long as she's not taking, and to use a Rafiki that hits for 3 to take out a Tinkerbell and then it dies in the process. Like,
yeah, you're basically removing your 1-drops together, and certain Ruby decks will be okay with that.
Yeah.
So like, and you don't play Tinkerbell in a deck where you want everything to live for as long as possible, but you do play Tinkerbell in a deck where you're okay 1-for-1ing your opponent's stuff because, and again, this is why we're seeing her pop up so much in Ruby Amethyst right now. It's because that's a deck that's saying I can draw cards whenever, and I want a character that when it quests, because I am trying to put like pressure on my opponent, when it quests, it is always going to take out whatever challenges it. And for the most part, it can do that up until the late stages of the game where they're playing big bombs, and at that point you're probably not ideally playing these 1-drops. So it's a great card. It's not a niche card, but it has a specific use, and you play it in certain archetypes where you're playing a mid-range or control game plan, but you don't play it in an aggressive archetype where all you care about is turning something for points and hoping that they live the next turn. And there's better cards for that, right? So it fulfills a unique role. It is a weirdly statted card, but again, we can't view things from their best case scenarios, just like we shouldn't view cards from their worst case scenarios, but instead we should, when we read cards, and it's an experience thing. It is both science and also meta knowledge of like, you can read a card and be like, this is a huge amount of total stats, but if the stats are distributed in weird ways, it may or may not be good. And in this case, it being distributed in that heavy attack line actually at that stage of the game gives it a great value.
Which is also trending of what we're seeing the devs do with the Ruby color in general. I mean, we saw this. There's a lot of, we started to see this with the power line cards and the singers that like the 4/2s that hit really hard but have a little defense. And it's kind of this like the single target removal of like whatever they hit, they might not survive but they're taking it with them. So, and I think that is a really interesting kind of archetype that's coming out of, there's a lot of characters that are being statted a little bit higher. And so having these Ruby cards that have a lot more of attack power, I think is just kind of, it's an interesting.
It's an identity.
It is an identity, and it'll make Ruby more of a contender.
Yeah.
We've been talking that Ruby at this point in time is a support color, and it used to be a build around, but it checks certain decks.
So like there are certain decks that are trying to get by on their bulky defensive stat lines, and Ruby is just like before, but for a different reason, is the deck that checks that. Because before it was, okay, I don't care if you have bulky things, I'm going to B-prep the board, your health doesn't matter. Or I don't care if you have bulky things, if it has low attack power, I'm going to wipe it off the board with Sisu. But obviously now, it's more that like, I don't care if your thing has a lot of willpower. All of my stuff, or most of my stuff, is going to have high strength, whether it's because they naturally have that stat, or because Lumiere is buffing it, or because Headless Horseman, another 4/2 weirdly statted card. Bronx, the big 6/3, I think, gargoyle.
I'm saying we're starting to see this.
It's a trend.
Yeah, it's a trend. The Hercules, the legendary Hercules. Yep, he's a 5/3.
Yeah. So anyways, thanks for the comment, Corbett LaFrance 3352. Glad that you gave us an awesome jumping off point to have a neat discussion about reading cards and why stats matter and where they're placed matters. So, well, now we'll go ahead and move to our final segment here. It's going to be a relatively quick episode by our standards, but that's okay. That just means we can go and eat dinner. It's true. Lindsay here.
It's also very cold in this room. So.
It got cold.
It got really cold.
Yeah. Lindsay is going to
twitchy.
Yeah, she's going to take us through our segment. Hear Me Out. Where she brings some of her Lorcana hot takes and gets some of my live reactions to these things, which I have not heard. Well, so I'm very excited.
We maybe accidentally previewed a little bit earlier in the episode. As some talking points. But that's okay. We're still gonna run through them.
It's always interesting to hear what you've come up with, and it's funny. I know this because I actually suggested originally. I'm like, if you're ever struggling for something, just go to the Lorcana Facebook, like open Facebook
Discord
page.
Channels.
There's some wild conversations that go on there. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's funny because sometimes my hot takes get a little too hot and Ian has to reel me back in.
Yeah.
So.
And that's why we came up with this segment, because it can be fun to bring what our actual Arcana conversations look like sometimes to the podcast.
Yeah. All right, so my first one.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ruby,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's been a lot of murmur about Ruby Amethyst, and it being back in a real way. So my prediction, hot take, is that Ruby Amethyst is going to be a top 8 contender at Richmond DLC.
Oh, you think it's going to place in the top 8?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like it's going to survive.
Interesting.
All the way.
So that it's funny that's an interesting take, because everything up until then, I'm like, well, yeah, for sure. It's definitely back. I mean, it had 2 or 3, there was 2 or 3 of them in the top 8 at the Las Vegas, I think it was a CCQ. And so like, okay. And they played each other in the finals, right?
There's a lot of talk on the interwebs of
it's a trendy topic this week.
It's back.
Yeah.
The big bad that once was.
Well, and it's really, if it is in fact back, it will mark a return to form for a color that was never bad until last set, and then it was really pretty bad last set, and then one set off and it's back to its former glory.
Right.
I think so it's a different deck.
I don't think it'll be back to its former glory until a certain card gets reprinted.
Well, maybe not. It will definitely it's definitely totally different.
Yeah.
So it plays totally different. Red Purple is sort of this odd mid-range deck. In many ways, it's similar to Purple Steel, which it's sort of trying to you're trying to play sticky threats out onto the board, be able to remove things with your powerful purple cards, and draw a bunch of cards that you can sort of attrition your way into a win by playing multiple things per turn once you get into the late phase of the game. But as you play in the early phase, you're curving out big thing after big thing after big thing, and making it hard for your opponent to like efficiently deal with stuff, right? The thing that's interesting about it is that like it's up for debate how much better it actually is than Purple Steel, because you're using the same suite of awesome purple cards, and instead of using the removal that you would get from Strength of Raging Fire, He Hurls Thunderbolt, if you're playing that, instead of that, you're using Ruby cards. You have the Headless Horseman, which is an objectively incredible card, being able to destroy 2 attack or less. But like, you're also sitting there looking at it and you're like, what else is Ruby really bringing to the table? You get the 2-drop Diablo, amazing. A 3/3 stat line that quests for 2 is awesome. We loved Mr. Smee for it. Who cares if it's uninkable? Like, you'll play that for sure. But you also have Calhoun in that same role in Amethyst Steel, which is arguably a better Diablo, right? Yeah. Like, outside of scenarios like damage movement, it's probably just better Diablo, because the one resist gets an effective 3 in a challenge. So, is that Diablo really giving an edge over Purple Steel? And I think the other thing that like should be mentioned is like, Ruby Amethyst had been like off a lot of people's radar. I've been testing it for the last couple weeks myself, just because I love Ruby Amethyst. And what seemed to happen without having been there, what seemed to happen at this big tournament is that nobody respected it. Nobody was planning for it. And a lot of the decks that it is normally pretty like okay against teched in the completely wrong direction. So a lot of decks seem to be really worried about these big Prince Philip decks, these slower blue decks, the Blue Steels, the Baja Blast, right? And if everyone's teching for that, then they're not teching for Red Purple and the kinds of threats that Red Purple can bring to the table, including Amethyst Steel, where if Amethyst Steel is running a bunch of like, cheap little evasives, right? Like the Tinkerbells and stuff like that. Sure, that's nice, but Ruby Amethyst can take more consistent advantage of that because it has these sticky threats those Tinkerbells can't challenge well into, and because it can sit there and remove those low attack units very cleanly throughout the course of the game with the Headless Horseman. So I just think that like I think what will to answer your hot take, I really want it to be good. So I'm trying to separate my bias, which is like I really want this to be a true top 3 meta deck.
Yeah.
I just struggle. It's good.
Yeah.
Will it win a bunch of set champs for people? Absolutely. I don't think it's good enough to make top 8 at DLC Richmond, because I think that as soon as people start respecting it, they'll change the way they build the deck. And I just don't think it has good enough gameplay into those big control decks that everyone was teching for.
Right.
And so if everyone stops teching for the big control decks, that means more of them will come back. They will have a better success rate. They'll be at the higher tables. And I just think that that's going to diminish, especially Baja Blast, especially that one is the biggest one for me that like I've been struggling to consistently win on the draw with.
Yeah.
Actually, and that's another point, which is I just don't.
Just win the die roll.
Yeah, well, yeah, just win the die roll, right? But I don't know that Ruby Amethyst is that awesome on the draw against anything.
Yeah,
it's especially worse against Baja Blast. So, I'm gonna say that's too hot of a take. Too hot of a take. I think that it is back. I think it's a solid deck. I do not think it's making top 8 at Richmond DLC. We'll see how the deck evolves over the next month and a half.
We got plenty of time between now and then. My second hot take is Lorcana is for the rich kids. Again. More than ever, probably. Maybe more than ever. I'm looking at these prices, and Cinderella was the big talk of the town. She was at $60 for a while. She's come down to about $40.
Sure.
But Hades is $30. Demona is $22. Goliath is $20. The Headless Horseman's almost $20. Webby's $20. Like, you've got a lot of these cards that's $80 to $100 to buy a playset if you don't pull them. And all of these are cards that you probably play 4 of in the decks that you're playing. And so it's gotten to this point of we've had to have the conversation. We bought we bought more product because of these are going to be the meta warping, just like Floodborne kind of was for a long time.
Actually, Inklands, I think, was even worse.
Yeah, like those, between those two sets, it's like those were the meta warping legendaries that kind of stuck through. And I think that we're seeing that again with this set. And so, so that thing of like, eventually you're just going to have to bite the bullet, and maybe the prices will come down as, the meta situates itself. But I think that we are getting into dangerous territory of pricing people back out of the game.
I think you're totally right. I think this is, it's funny. I don't think it's even a hot take, but I think it's a take that people are scared to make. Like, I think, you know what I mean? I know you aren't. But I do think that it's like sort of it's the thing that like I hear Lorcana content creators, not all of them, but, a lot of them are scared to voice displeasure, I think, with Ravensburger on this. And I don't think it's even really fair to put all the blame on Ravensburger.
Yeah.
I think it's funny because, like,
I think the meta needed these cards. So I'm not going to lie. Like, the meta needed these kind of warping cards to really shake it up. And I'm excited about this all. But
I think we also have to look at the fact that like there's a couple other components at play. Like there's old legendaries that are still very good. Dumbo's is like still $35. Sharks, which aren't even that meta. But this is the weird thing. Shark and Tamatoa, for instance, are not seeing play, and they're still holding strong at like $20+ for Tamatoa, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking up Tamatoa as we speak.
Maui Shark, I think, is still $30+.
Tamatoa is $18.
What is Half Shark?
Maui Half Shark.
Because
22, 23.
So like these cards that are seeing no meta play, and while they have certainly fallen, for whatever reason the community just looks at it and they all agree with what is the truth. These are objectively strong cards, and that were once strong in the meta, but it refuses to settle down to a rate that makes speculative investing on these older legendaries worthwhile for players. And so like, and one could argue, I mean, to one person, $15 is nothing. To another person, $15 times 4 for a playset is a lot. And the
thing is, you're talking about buying potentially 3 to 4 of these cards.
Yeah.
Because you only can pull so many or trade for so many.
And it's tough because like there is Lorcana and trading card games for the most part will never truly be pay to win, because there will always be ways to use budget cards, and if you're a good enough player, you can overcome a certain amount of disadvantage. But there will be a point where there is enough of a disadvantage of playing a deck that is suboptimal, or being forced to play into archetypes like aggro dogs, which is relatively affordable, but isn't like it's like one play style.
Right.
And if that's not well positioned at a tournament, too bad. If you can't afford anything else, that sucks. So I'm gonna throw it all out there. That sucks. I think the problem is not necessarily on Ravensburger in a conscious way. Yeah. I don't know that they consciously sat there and went, man, we're going to print like 6+ meta as hell legendaries. And so that way everybody has to buy tons and tons and tons of product. Maybe. But that's not been their MO in the past.
Yeah, I agree.
In the past, some of the best cards would be like super rares and rares. Like we're looking at and I think that they like consciously did this design philosophy where like we want legendaries to be powerful and exciting, but we don't necessarily want them to be generic cards as much as we want them to be powerful payoffs or build arounds. We saw things like that with, Maui Half-Shark is a sort of a build around card. It is generically okay, but there's a reason we're not seeing it in the new Ruby Amethyst. It doesn't fit.
It doesn't, right. It requires other pieces to be effective.
And as great as Dumbo is, if you play no other evasives, it's not going to be as good as it would be if you built around it. Ursula Deceiver of All for Inklands, right? Like we saw plenty of examples of this. And so, but I do think that there are times where they are going to print generically good cards. Cinderella is a generically amazing blue card that I think is going to be largely, it will not ever be like completely dominating, but it is going to be the number one consideration anytime you build a blue deck.
Yeah.
It won't mean it will stay in the deck the whole time, but it will start to homogenize that color. Yeah. Right? And so whenever you have those kinds of cards, everyone feels like they have to go get them because they know that if they want to play any blue deck, they probably...
Diablo was essential. We've talked about this, and if you're newer to the game, you might not remember Diablo's rotated since then, but Diablo was he became essential in every Emerald deck because it was the main card draw engine until Clarabelle was printed.
And this set, cards that are like that would potentially... There would be more cards that would probably have been rares or super rares. Things like Prince John, which was a fundamentally ridiculously powerful card. If you were to be like, if you didn't know anything about Prince John, and if you looked at him for the first time and he had a legendary stamp, would you have been surprised?
No.
Right. So like Genie, the 4-drop Genie, evasive, 2 lore, 2/4 stats, draw a card, super rare, legendary even, right? You can look at the Headless Horseman, I think, is the perfect example of a card that probably could have been a super rare. Yeah. Nothing about Headless Horseman is like, holy cow, this does the most zany, bonkers, unique thing. It's like, it's basically, Madame Medusa with a kicker effect. You know what I mean? So it's like, wow, that's really cool, but like, does it need to be a legendary? I think the best example of a rare or super rare that is like really, really, really meta that isn't, could have been a legendary in this set is the 8-drop Headless Horseman.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But so in combination, just to put a pin in this topic, I think you're totally right. I don't think it's too hot. I think it's just more that it's also tough. Like, we're fans of the game. Like, we don't want there to be problems. Yeah. You know what I mean? Well,
this is where I get into okay, recognize that these cards are going to be meta warping and find ways to get them in people's hands. Print other versions of them.
Like they did with Hades. Hades is like $7 now.
Exactly. There's other ways to, pick a different set champs promo card.
Yeah. Or
there's other ways to
the box sets with Lilo and Elsa and Tinkerbell. Make those a legendary. Make a Headless Horseman box set with the legendary horseman or with...
You can do special artwork so that it continues to be a collector's card, but it helps bring the price of the, just your standard min rarity down for the people who just want to play for competitively. So.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too, like,
and I just think you're risking ostracizing people out of the competitive scene by making. I mean, Blurple
Totally.
is a $500 deck right
yeah,
now. And
it's also just, and I'll tell you to the listeners who like may or may not be on our side on this, like I think that I think there's a lot of people out there that like are maybe jaded by the TCG market, and it's like it's pay to play. You are you're electing
Sure.
to play in this. It's not like it's not a necessity, right? It's not healthcare, right? It's like it is cards.
Yes.
Like you're choosing to play, just like you'd play golf or something,
Yeah.
right? I think the bigger problem is in the sustainability of the game long term.
Yes.
And it's funny because we've had actually quite a few newer players since Fabled, which has been awesome. And it's really been a challenge. And I think it's been a challenge to sit there with them and they would say, what do I do to build a good deck? And it's really hard to look them straight in the eye and say, what do you want to play? Instead, you have to go, here's 2 decks that you can afford that's not going to break the bank. And
what did you pull?
What did you pull? Well, and it's funny because it's like even the new players that come from other games that understand that these things cost money,
Right.
they are still like, whoa.
Yeah.
It costs how much? And I mean, it's people coming over from Pokemon where like, the like super duper Charizard Mega EX whatever is going to be like $8 a pop. Yeah. And that's considered pricey, right? So it's like it's tough to like navigate that. And fortunately for us, we have a great community that kind of funnels extra cards to people. But we're taking a financial loss theoretically, giving away $10, $15 cards to new players just to keep them in the game.
Yeah, and like I said, like we it's a hobby. We know we're going to spend money on it.
True.
And we're okay with spending money on it. But it is, I just think it's a thing.
I'm happy to pay the price. Like,
Sure.
I'm happy to pay for singles. But not everybody's like us. Some people are,
I think as far as, so it's going to kind of lead me towards my next point.
Oh, okay. This is a good segue.
And so I will segue into, I think Ravensburger, spicy take, calling him out.
Okay. Ooh,
is trending in the wrong direction as far as support for local play. So you are starting to push out new players. You're trying, which is disappointing because I think that they have been so outspoken. When they banned Bucky, back when Bucky got banned, the best point was made is they were like, it's not fun to play against. And so like you are making people not want to play the game by making something unfun to play against or in that situation. But in the same way of like, all of these cards being priced out, it makes the game more unapproachable for new players. And so I think the OP kits, like the organized play kits, are starting to go downhill a little bit. Like, we
mentioned that earlier, I think.
We mentioned that earlier as far as like, the pins are one thing. Like, I get it. Maybe it doesn't make sense to make the pins. That's fine. But then find something of equal value. So if it's a collector's item or something like... paper goods are less exciting if they're not promo cards that we can use. So like make it promo cards that are different artworks of
or take the
rares.
Pokemon model or the Star Wars Unlimited model where they're giving you like league packs that only include like either promos or alt arts or even just like the Pokemon packs. They just put they just print a stamp on it. Yeah. But they only will print like playables, not necessarily like the best cards of the game, though. Somebody pulled a stamped foil copy of one of the best generic Pokemon in the game that still sits at around $10 to $15, even though everybody's probably already had one because it's been out for almost 2 years, right? But it's like, oh man, they pulled that and that was a really cool experience, right? Like, and that's just to give out for free.
Yeah. Or incentivize people to continue an organized play by the competitive people earning points towards being able to play in these large scale events.
I wasn't thinking that, but yeah.
I think that there are ways to continue to like nurture. I mean, the health of a card game is by the health of the local play.
1,000%.
And because the competitive scene can only carry it so far. And if the competitive scene is so exclusionary, and so I just think that like, whether it's by price, whether it's because of the cost of getting into it, whether it's the limited,
even judge compensation.
Yeah, like there's just, I think that and I get it. The game's still figuring out.
Sure.
But we're 2 years in now, and so I think that, and for it to have done a better job at nurturing the local play early, to like kind of, it feels
like they're taking a step back.
They're taking a step back and focusing on different areas. And this is my slight nudge in the like, let's not forget the people who need this the most, and like are the bread and butter. Don't forget the little guys.
Like, well, and truthfully, and I got it, and this is not truthfully, and I know this from behind the scenes, a lot of the top quote unquote competitive players, they don't go to league.
Yeah.
They have, and this is what it took Pokemon a long time from what I've been told to understand this, right? They had to literally attach championship points to local events for like qualifying for Worlds, and you have a limit to how many. You can't just farm them endlessly, but like it took that to get competitive players out into the community.
Yeah.
Because it's so much more efficient for top players who don't do it just for love of the game, and there are plenty that do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm a top player, but like I love the social aspect.
You could be if you could make it to more events.
Well, maybe. That's a bold statement. We won't go there. That's a different hot take. We're not going there. We're not. But my point though is that like some people are like me.
Yeah.
We love the social aspect. We love being there, cards in hand, right? And so like there are plenty of pro players who are like that, but there's also an equally, and if I was going to bet, larger amount of them that are like, why would I go to locals and play somebody worse than me?
Sure.
If I could just play with my testing group, online on webcam. And that's all they do. And that's okay. I am certainly not diminishing that. We play plenty online as well.
I don't know that a pro football player would get a lot by playing pickup in their local area.
And that's a great point.
But it's still, I think there is a nurturing of that scene.
And right now, I think there's a lot of weight put on the local players to support new players.
Yeah.
Like, holy cow. And I just want to and I'm not here to pat myself on the back with this, but I'm telling you this not because our league is so cool, but because this is what we have to do. We've realized over time to get people to try the game and stay.
Yeah.
Right now, I have a box over there that is off camera that is chock full of spare cheap rares and super rares and a bunch of commons that are good commons, so palace guards and black herons and stuff like that that have been crowdsourced from our group that I build into certainly not meta decks because they can't afford that, but themed cohesive decks with an identity and a game plan, because new players come in off the streets with a damn starter deck that makes no sense, and they just get that. It doesn't matter how nice you are, how you can't pull your punches with $500 blurple can only do so much to not crush their hopes and dreams into the ground like a mortar and pestle, grinding them to a pulp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it shouldn't necessarily, the onus should not be on the other players at League to have to go to League and then say, man, new player with a starter deck, here, borrow my deck. Or here, I'll play a bad deck just to make it interesting for you. That's the biggest problem. And while I want to blame the OP kits and say, man, the OP kits should be better, or I want to blame, some of the other set champs. Oh, maybe set champs should motivate top players to come out more often, give them championship points. I actually think it all starts with the starter decks.
So this is your hot take.
It's turning into my hot take. Here's my hot
Better
take.
Starter decks.
Hear me out. I'll use the format.
Oh, yeah.
The starter decks are ruining the growth of the game. And that if Ravensburger wants to hook new players after they come to League, because that's the we're marketers in real life.
Right.
Top top of funnel is the awareness, like running ads, putting it up in big box stores, right? The next stage of the funnel for most of the market that they want, because they either have the TCG pros or they don't. Yeah. Like they either have the competitive players or they don't. And we make a vote with our dollar. We say, we try out Lorcana once. We go, yeah, okay, I'm a competitive TCG player. I'm going to stick with it. Or no, I'd rather go back to Pokemon. Or no, I want to try this Riftbound or whatever. So, but what they need to capture is net new players to both the genre or returning players to TCGs that played them when they were kids. Okay, or get the kids into it so that the parents join in and spend all their money on the kids to make the kids happy. Get those Fortnite V-Bucks going, right? Like, that's the idea. That's the formula. That's the business model. Yeah. And so if you want to do that, run the ads, do the marketing, right? And then it's get them in the big box stores. Somebody, Dad, can I buy this at Walmart? It's got Elsa on it, right? Like, okay, yeah, sure, honey, I'll get you the Elsa thing. And then you sit down.
There was a bunch of drama in the Facebook group about people's orders getting canceled from the big box stores. So
sure, well, and so like, okay, so but even saying that there's no logistical issues, and then they, and we get past that hurdle, and they get the starter deck. Then the way that you hook them and make them a return customer that feeds the cycle and gets them pre-ordering boxes every set is they go to League and they have a great time.
Yeah. Do you know what? This also solves our earlier problem is the price of singles. So put a legendary in the starter decks.
Put legendaries in the starter decks.
Put legendaries in the starter decks and some decent super rares and rares or whatever.
You don't have to put 4. You put one Cindy. Legendary. One big Cindy.
One big Cindy and build a whole deck. You could have a princess deck all built around Cindy. And like you've made the price of a Cindy more. You're welcome.
We solved it. We did it. We fixed Lorcana.
Just all in a day's work.
It sounds like we're really upset about this, but it's more that like you see
I am upset about it in the way that I love this game.
Yes.
And I don't want to see this game fizzle and die because of decisions made to not nurture the backbone of the game. Yep. And I don't think we're there yet. To be very clear, I don't think we're there yet.
We're still just tapering down from the high of new game.
Hey, heads up. This is how it feels from a voice from the boots on the ground. Yeah. This is what it feels like, is that you're like, like, okay, all right, we hear you, but like the competitive scene. And it's just,
we're funneling so much into our local community. And that's just because we like the game. Like, I'm not saying there are not other people like us out there, but like, we shouldn't have to carry the burden as individual players that spend our own money on the cards. And then the only ways we can hook new players is by handing over our extra cards of value. You know what I mean?
We're going to keep doing it.
We're going to keep doing it.
We love the game and we want to.
Right. It's not a threat. It's I'm not saying this like I'm going to stop. If you don't fix the starter decks, I'm going to stop helping new players. But it's just saying that like it is a hard transition. It's the reason why my budget decks on the YouTube page do so well. Yeah. It's because people are like, what the heck they open the starter deck, they go to League, they get pummeled, and if they don't quit right then and there, they go home, get on YouTube and see all these $500 deck lists and go, what the heck do I do? Is any of this in the stuff? No, none of this is in the cards I got in my starter deck.
So we're just teaching you some basic ways that you could help nurture.
Well, and I think it's going to take, it takes time. Yeah. Like they're new to this. Like I'm going to say all this and I'm going to make an excuse for them. They're ramping up hiring. I've seen like they're doing a lot.
They're building out and there's already things that we've seen such big improvements.
Yep.
And I am excited and continue to be excited about the game.
Yeah. It will change. Yeah. It's just a matter of what are the focuses, what are the priorities, and I do think that like for what it's worth for all the people, all the people listening, that's why getting active get in the comment section, submit these things to other, more popular podcasts, like start the conversation and, mention things here and there.
Maybe we're alone. Yell at us. Tell us
tell us we're wrong or tell us what the actual problem is because tell us
we're wrong and you can end up in the comment section.
That's true. Yes. Jump in the comments. We'll take both outlandish, wacky comments, but we'll also take on serious comments and try to, if I don't respond right away in there on the YouTube channel, or I may respond and still shout you out on here if it's particularly funny or spicy or interesting. So I guess that's going to go ahead and lead us out of there. So, yeah.
Nope, I still have one more.
Oh, you have one? Okay, we did 3, though.
This one's fun.
You have a bonus one?
I have a bonus one.
Okay.
This is sparked by a conversation that we had at League.
Oh,
that
okay.
we had somewhat shouting across.
I'm trying to figure out what this would be about.
Hear me out. The Hades hate is completely unfounded. The Hades.
Oh, you're talking about 7-drop Hades.
7-drop Hades. The hate on Hades is completely unfounded. I would argue that is one
You're
of
such
the
a
most...
homer. You're such a blurple homer.
This is a hill I would die on. No, are you from set 1?
You're out here caping for blurple.
I'm not. It's not even just for Blurple. Everybody's like, "Oh, card's broken." It is not. That is hands down one of the most fair cards in the game. It is a beautiful in fact, you know what? Honestly, the purple Hades is also a great card.
I don't think anyone's arguing the purple Hades.
The blue Hades.
Yeah.
It is a 7-drop, uninkable. So it is a high cost, uninkable. So
look at her; she's so intense about this.
Because I'm tired of being dismissed by this. You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that Clarabelle isn't a broken card. It is a shiftable card with a crazy strong effect on play, and she quests for 2 and is a 5/6 body. You cannot.
There was. You should know.
You could make her a
you
not
should know.
shiftable character.
Listeners, you should know. There was a very heated debate raging across, like, I don't know, 20, 30 feet of tables about whether or not blue Hades is good or bad for the game. Unfortunately, I started it and did not know it would reach that fervor.
Yeah, the hate is unfounded. He's good for the game. He's fair. The only argument you have to say that he's bad for the game is because he's in blue, and blue just keeps gets a lot of very strong cards. Okay. But the fact that he's in blue makes sense. He puts a card into
I mean, okay, thematically, yeah, it does. It makes more sense. Well, I'm not going to say that. Here's what I'll say. I'm going to try to be as like objective as possible. So for context, when I asked this question, I posed it to a group of tables. I was judging, so I was just wandering around. Mm-hmm. And in between like games, or maybe right before games started, somebody mentioned something, like a newer player was like, that Hades card is crazy. And then I was sitting there, and there was like 3 or 4 of the like most experienced players in our store were all sort of sitting in the same group. So I was like, question for the group. I was like, do you think the meta would be healthier with or without, sorry, not healthier. Do you think the meta would be more interesting with or without blue Hades? And everybody, I think, took that to interpret like, is it broken card? Is it fair? Is it whatever?
It's been ongoing for the past several sets of the hate on Hades.
So let me say this. I agree completely with you.
Yeah.
That it is a balanced card relative to the power of a ton of other cards. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have seen way stronger cards than that.
Yeah.
Like, throughout the history of the game.
Uh-huh.
I think it's a totally fair, balanced card. Mm-hmm. I think the thing that, and I don't even think, I bet you most listeners are like, what? Hades is fine. Mm-hmm. The thing that I threw out there, and I think it was worse last set, but this set, I do think it's still prevalent, is that like we were at League, and I would hazard a guess that of the 10 to 12 people that were there, like 9 people were playing blue decks, and every single blue deck had 4 Hades. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily right or wrong.
It's a good card.
Yeah, well, okay, so it's a staple, right? Staples exist. Staples exist. Mm-hmm. I think the thing that like good long-term card design, and I think that like we will see it revert to that eventually. We just went through rotation, right? Mm-hmm. I think the thing that's interesting about Hades is that it makes the ramping color also one of the most reliable removal colors. You get one of the only point-and-click removal cards in the game, and it actually comes down at a cheaper price point, despite being in the ramp color than Maleficent Dragon in Ruby. So Ruby has to pay a tax on a similar effect, while also not having ramp in it.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd reverse the two,
Ruby also has Dragonfire, which is a point and shoot.
well,
But it is
that
an action, so it's
they
not
just
attached
got
to a
that.
body.
It's an action. It doesn't attach to a body, which I think we can all agree is the
Yeah.
gold standard removal, is something
Sure,
that
yes.
presents a threat while also removing something, right? So I think that the contrast is just simply it feels out of place relative to the post-rotation meta in that it is making the most powerful sort of accent color. Actually, it's really a shell at this point. Like the blue shell can go in anything. Truly. Like the ramp on 2, Cindy on 4 into big things can go with steel. It can go with ruby. It can go with purple. I mean, maybe not with Cindy specifically because of Blurple's really strong other 4-drops. But like you can just put that it goes with green, right? I mean, really the only one it doesn't go with is with amber, but like you can still do some janky stuff, and that speaks more to the weakness of amber as a color.
Figured out yet.
Well, no, and I think it's really cool. Like, and I've played with it a little bit. But my point is just simply that, like, I think it is more the absence of other removal that is that strong in other colors, but especially ruby, has made it such that you look at that and you go, wow, why does the strongest, like, ink generating color get a cheap, affordable removal action within it? Or not action, character within it. When in the past it would be like, okay, we're ramping into Madame Medusa or Tremaine or Shark or whatever, or B-Prep or blue and green. Like, you know, you were doing a lot of the same things you're ramping into Clarabelle. Like, but that's a draw engine. Or you're ramping into Tamatoas and you're putting Lucky Dimes out there as with the old combos. So like my point is just simply that like I don't think it's an unhealthy card. I think a point and click removal has to be in the game. I think it's more the like it feels a little bit weird in this smaller format than we've had in over a year because it stands out compared to the other colors as the most efficient, versatile, like it's the easiest. I mean, nothing else is as good as that at that price point, and it's in the same color that gets everything earlier. Because like if you look at like, you know, technically Headless Horseman, the 8-drop, it's not guaranteed to get a kill on something. 5-drop Headless Horseman and Ruby comes down cheaper while also being uninkable and can only hit certain things. So I think it's just that's
it's almost guaranteed.
What?
Assuming
Hades?
They're the Headless Horseman.
Headless Horseman, I mean, it depends. I mean, I saw somebody roll no damage last week.
Oh, sorry, the red Headless Horseman.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
On turn
there are
5,
there's probably something
a
in play.
that you are pointing.
Sure,
but
but you can't point and click their Hades. You can't point and click. Right. So I'm just saying, I think that's where it stands out. Am I going to sit here and advocate for it to be removed? No. Do I think
they can pry Hades out of my cold, dead hands?
Do I think, and I'm going to say this to the audience, then we'll close out. Do you think that had Hades not been reprinted and instead a different kind of removal in like a similar removal in a different color had been printed, do you think the meta would be healthier or more interesting or more diverse? Would we see a different... I mean, diverse. Right. And we're seeing just so many blue strats just jamming ramp into big bombs.
Well, maybe they need to stop printing really good blue cards.
Well, okay.
Print some
sure, but let me ask this though. Like
we didn't need Cindy
too. I just or where's the amber removal? Right? Why could Amber could have?
Amber will never get removal.
Apparently not.
Amber's
aggro.
Stepchild.
Silly Amber, you're just aggro. Yeah. You silly goose. You
have
only
some princesses.
Here you go. Have some princesses. Have some two questers.
Do you want to support things?
Yeah.
That's your only removal.
Here, have some
support things
into Criminal Minds.
Criminal Minds.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments where you stand on Hades Gate. It has been a hot button issue at our local league.
Because I play the healthiest of the blue decks.
You do well. We'll see.
Because Blurple, well, it used to be. And
Yeah.
It's changed a little bit. It used to be an Amethyst deck with blue as an accent color.
Yeah. We'll see it. We'll see where it ends up. Anyways, we'll go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, follow, subscribe, all the generic YouTube-y shenanigans. If you're listening... Comment. If you're listening in podcast form, consider leaving a review if you're on iTunes. That helps us out a ton. Same with Spotify. Leave us a review and share the podcast with your friends. Share the channel with your friends. We do all sorts of content, not just the podcast, but also we do deck videos, including usually once or twice a set. I will help people budgetize decks ahead of like set champ season. So check us out. Follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you on the next one.
Go to your local league.
Go to league.